hearts of the faithful. Send forth your spirit, and thou shalt be created. Let us pray, O God, who by the light of the Holy Spirit will instruct the hearts of the faithful, grant by the same Spirit, we may be truly wise and ever rejoice in His consolation. Through the same Christ our Lord. Amen. May divine assistance remain always with us, and may the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. HCA,
Friends of Jesus.
Friends of Jesus.
HCA.
Good morning, children. We are sorry for starting this program late. We'll try not to repeat this next program. You are welcome to the third episode of Bible Study for Kids on the Eternal Word Reflection Network. My name is Igor Mary Ann, and with me today are...
Okay, my name is Okeke Anadol.
Where is your center?
Women. Osakila Joanne. Osakila Agona Jerry. Igor Nicholas.
Okeke Aluchi. And of course, you all joining us live from home. You are all welcome to the program. Last week on the program, Auntie Loretta talked about the story of Abraham and how God blessed Abraham and Sarah with a son, Isaac, in their old age, after waiting for so many years, trusting and believing in God. Abraham was faithful and trusted God, even to the point of sacrificing his only son, Isaac. Today, we will be talking about the story of Jacob, the son of Isaac and Rebekah, and the twin brother to Esau. The story of Jacob begins from Genesis 25, verse 19. Now, remember in the story of Abraham, God made a covenant to Abraham that he would have many children and that God would be with him and with all his descendants. And God did what he said, and Abraham had a son named Isaac. Isaac grew up and got married to a lady named Rebekah. Rebekah couldn't have children either, but Isaac had learned from his father Abraham that if he prayed to God, God might answer his prayers. And sure enough, God answered Isaac's prayers, and his wife Rebekah became pregnant, and not just with one baby, but with twins. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, it is.
Do you remember your mommy ever having a big tummy because there was a baby growing inside of her? Babies move all around while they're in the tummy, you know, and sometimes you can see or feel the babies moving around. Rebekah had the same feelings as all moms do when they are pregnant. It's just that she felt her baby moving around so much that she asked God, "Why is this happening to me?" And God answered her saying, "Your children are very different from one another. One of your children will lead a group of people that is stronger than the other, and the older child will serve the younger one." This was strange, because if you are the oldest child in the family, your younger brothers and sisters are supposed to look up to you as the oldest, and they would want to do what the oldest is doing. But in this case, the older brother pushed for the younger brother. Now, when the twins were born, the first boy was named Esau. He is easy to remember because he is red in complexion and hairy. Right behind him came his younger brother, Jacob. As Jacob and Esau grew up, Esau offended God by trading his birthright as the first child to Jacob, his younger brother, over a food that was prepared by Jacob. He disappointed God by not seeing the importance of the special gift he would have received later on, and choosing a silly thing like a bowl of soup instead. Now, Isaac was getting old, and he wasn't able to see anymore. He wanted to give his oldest and favorite son Esau his blessings before he died. This blessing was a special promise God made to his grandfather Abraham and to his father Isaac. So Isaac told Jacob, Esau, to prepare a meal for him, and then he would give him his blessings. Rebekah overheard Isaac talking to Esau, and she rushed to tell her favorite son Jacob. She said to him, "Your father is about to give Esau his blessings, and I want you to have it instead." Then Jacob was a bit worried because he wasn't as hairy as Esau. So his mother told him not to worry, that he was going to put on Esau's clothes and a goat skin on his hands and his neck. And you all know goat skin has hair, right? So his father would never find out. When Jacob went to see his father Isaac, pretending to be Esau, Isaac told him to get closer to him so he could touch and believe that he was really his oldest son, Esau. "Are you really Esau?" Isaac asked, and Jacob chose to lie. "I am." So Isaac ate, and when he finished, he asked, "Come and kiss me." When Jacob went to kiss him, Isaac smelled his clothes, just to make sure it smelled like Esau. Since Jacob was wearing Esau's clothes, his father believed it was Esau, and then he gave Jacob his blessings. Just as Jacob finished getting the blessings, he thought he heard his brother Esau coming, so he quickly snuck out through the back of the tent. Just as he was walking away, Esau entered the tent with the food he had prepared for his father. His father asked, "Who are you?" "It's me, your son Esau. I'm here to get my blessings," said Esau, confused. "I just gave you my blessings." And Isaac started to realize that he had been tricked, just like he thought. Esau started crying and yelling, "Bless me too, father." "There is no blessings left," said his father, sadly. Esau was very upset with his brother Jacob for what he had done. So Jacob so he would be saved. After Jacob ran away, he was tricked just like he tricked his father, and he had to wait and work for 7 years before he could be with the woman he wanted to marry. And then he was tricked again with the wrong woman. Jacob later got married to Leah and Rachel, Laban's daughters. Each of them had their personal mates. Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah, and because of that, God decided to bless Leah with children first. Leah gave birth to 6 children: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. And her maid Zilpah gave birth to 2 children for Jacob. Their names were Gad and Asher. God later blessed Rachel with 2 children, Joseph and Benjamin. And her maid Bilhah also gave birth to 2 children for Jacob, Dan and Naphtali. And these were the 12 tribes of Israel. After Jacob served Laban for 14 years, he asked Laban to settle him and his family. And God told Jacob to take his family back to his hometown, and Jacob did as God instructed. That same night, Jacob got up, took his 2 wives, his 2 concubines, and his 12 children, and crossed the Jabbok River. After he had sent all that he owned across, he stayed behind alone. Then a man came and wrestled with him until just before daybreak. When the man saw that he was not winning the struggle, he struck Jacob on the hip, and it was thrown out of joint. The man said, "Let me go, for daylight is coming." "I won't, unless you bless me," Jacob answered. "What is your name?" the man asked. "Jacob," he answered. Now the man said, your name will no longer be Jacob, for you have struggled with God and men, and you have won. So your name will be Israel. Jacob said, now tell me your name. But he answered, why do you want to know my name? Then he gave Jacob his blessings. Jacob said, I have seen God face to face, and I am alive. So Jacob named the place Peniel. The sun rose, and as Jacob was leaving Peniel, he was limping because of his hip. Even today, the descendants of Israel do not eat the muzzle on the hip bone, because it was on the muzzle that Jacob was struck. Now Jacob took his family and a lot of gifts, which includes cattle. He divided them into halves, and put one of his servants in charge of each house, and asked them to go before him to visit his twin brother Esau. When Jacob met Esau, he bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. But Esau ran to meet his brother and threw his arms around him and kissed him. They were both crying. When Esau looked around and saw the women and children, he asked, who are these people with you? Jacob answered, saying, this is my family. And they all bowed down to greet Esau. And Esau asked Jacob about the other group he met and their significance. And Jacob answered, it was to gain your favor. But Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have. And Jacob said, no, please, if I have gained your favor, accept my gifts. Jacob kept on urging him until he accepted. So that day, Esau journeyed back to Edom, but Jacob went to Succoth, where he built a house for himself and shelters for his livestock. On his return from Mesopotamia, Jacob arrived safely at the city of Shechem in the land of Canaan, and set up his camp in a field near the city. He bought that part of the field from the descendants of Hamor, father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver. He put up an altar there and named it for El, the God of Israel. Now we have come to the end of the story of Jacob. Please, children, do you have any questions to ask? No question? Okay, now let me ask my question. According to the story I've just read, mention the wives of Jacob.
Rachel and Leah.
How many children did Rachel give birth to?
2 children.
A round of applause for her. What were the names of the children Rachel gave birth?
Rachel gave birth to Benjamin and Joseph.
A round of applause for her. Thank you very much. And what are the moral lessons you learned from this story?
I learned that we cannot share our birthright because of anything.
Thank you very much. Please clap for her.
I learned to always tell the truth.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for her. Any other moral lessons? Okay.
I learned that we should not cheat others.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for yourself. Okay, there was one we didn't mention. We should learn to be forgiving, just like Esau. Esau forgave his brother after everything that had happened between the both of them. So I hope you understand what I said. Thank you very much. And I'm going to teach you a song according to what I've read today about Jacob when he fought with God at Peniel. When the word goes like this: I will never let you go unless you bless me. I will never let you go unless you bless me. I will never let you go unless you bless me. I will never let you go unless you bless me. I will never let you go unless you bless me. Thank you very much for today. Thank you for joining us live. Thank you very, very much. We have come to the end of today's program. I'm Marianne Guru. Please let's start the closing prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. We fly to your protection, O Holy Mary, Mother of God. Despise not our prayers and our necessities, but deliver us from all dangers, ever glorious and blessed. Very Immaculate, Saint Michael and Saint Gabriel, Our Lady of Fatima, Saint Leo the Great, St. Francisco and Jacinta. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.